Hey, welcome to Motorsport and Scale. Today's episode, this is sort of the launch preview episode of the next build that I'm going to be doing, which is going to be as you can see, the new Lotus 99T from Beemax. It's just got released. It's been anticipated for quite some time. I think I pre-ordered this 14 months ago and finally got it. So that was exciting. So yeah, here it is. Let's see what it's all about. First, we'll just have a quick look through the contents. I'm not going to get too in depth, but we'll just show you what's in the box. I've also got the detail set that they released with it as well. So we'll have a look at both of those things. And probably my plan for building this is going to be more or less out of the box, the two boxes. I don't think I'm going to do a ton of extra detailing. There's obviously no other detail sets available for this yet. There was some chatter around there about Top Studio potentially being in collaboration with this. I'm not quite sure on that one. There's no literature, there's nothing on the box, there's nothing in anything that says Top Studio was involved in this. It doesn't say anything. The detail set is branded Beemax as well, Platts Beemax. Nothing, no mention anywhere that was developed in collaboration with Top Studio. I know on their upcoming motorcycle race, the Gamma, the 93 Gamma, that one they explicitly say they worked with Top Studio on, and it's got Top Studio branding on the box art that they've shown on that. This one they don't, but there's something interesting inside. So we'll see what comes from this. I've had a quick look at this. I haven't opened any of the bags yet. Just rummaged through the contents. It looks pretty good, but we'll have a closer look now. One thing before we get started, this box is the exact same size as a Tamiya 12 scale F1 kit, which is interesting. So anyways, let's just have a quick look, see how it comes packaged. I think I threw a picture up this on my Facebook page, but packaging's very similar to Tamiya again here. There are some Diatsu or whatever the name of that other Japanese model company from the 80s and 90s. They had very similar packaging. This wasn't really exclusive to Tamiya. There was quite a few brands that actually did this fancy packaging, but it harkens back to that era in the 90s when Tamiya was doing these types of kits. So anyways, here we go. That's what's in the box. That's what it looks like. It's quite a bit of plastic. We have a couple sprues per bag. There's only 2 bags on this side, 3 if you can count these little all the different various hose connectors there. So it's packed decently, but again, multiple sprues all in the same bag for whatever that's worth. Some people like that, some people don't. Then they give you these nice little boxes. This has got all the hoses and whatnot, screws. There's a billion screws on this thing, but this is interesting. Here, it's made to look like a little toolbox, with a bunch of stickers on it. And one of the stickers on this is a Top Studio sticker. They're not stickers, they're printed on there, but they're meant to be like that. So I found that interesting, but there's no mention of Top Studio being involved in the development or collaboration with this kit. So who knows? Maybe they'll be coming out with a super detail kit for this, and if they do, then I'll probably get another one of these if this one builds okay and do a super detailed version. So anyways, I'm going to get the box out of here. I'm going to unpack everything, and then we'll just have a quick look at everything, so you don't have to sit and watch me open a bunch of bags. But I'll be back in 2 secs. All right, get everything unpacked. We'll just have a quick look at all the plastics. So first off, engine block just came in its own little baggie here. Engine and transmission cases. So nicely slide molded piece. Some really nice fine molding on the side of the block and the head. So looks really well done, actually. I don't know about accuracy, but that's okay. One thing I find interesting. So this is the Honda RA166 Turbo V6 for 1987, and I know that they also announced that they're going to be releasing a 88 MP44, which uses the same engine. But so this is interesting because they molded the engine and the transmission as one piece, and as we can see, this is a Lotus specific transmission. So they made the decision to do this as one piece instead of, you know, having some common, like the engine's common. So I just find that interesting. Anyways, so it's a nicely molded piece. Lots of detail, reminiscent of the Tamiya engines of the engine of the era, like the FW14B and the MP46. So yeah, so far it's looking encouraging. So there is that. Pretty much everything's either black or yellow. Let's see if we can just pick up a bit of detail there. You can see everything. Again, looks like really nice molding, fine molding. It's the parts are thin. The detail's super crisp. Like if you look at these front covers and rear cover, they look very scale. Like if you know what I mean by that. You know, we have everything, the alternator and the belt all molded as one, so I'd prefer to have some of those pieces separate. Makes it a little bit easier to detail and to paint, but that's okay. It does look very nicely molded. Some oil coolers or whatnot. The valve covers look really good, or the cam covers. Got the coil packs with the wiring molded in. You know, I guess if a guy wanted to get it to scrape out the wiring and put in some actual wiring there. It doesn't look like they have the covers for the center that would go over the coil packs. I don't know if this car ran that or not, or if that's a later iteration, like I know on the 88 cars they had that. But yeah, it's all looking pretty good so far. Obviously, you can't really tell until you put it together, see how it fits, but quality of the moldings look good, which, and it looks, you know, like it looks scale. You know, if we look at, there's the pipe work for the injectors. You know, I have the Meng MP44, and honestly, looking at some of these parts, and I should actually pull it out and compare some of them. Maybe I'll do that when I'm building it. But looking through that kit, I'm not going to do a video on it. I'm probably not going to build that kit. I'm probably going to move it on. It looks like a toy so far from what I've seen of these parts. I really wasn't impressed with it. And the price point was about the same. Yeah, this is looking much more promising, especially the engine. The engine on that Meng kit just looks very simplified and toy-like, whereas this is looking quite nice. You got separate compressor and turbine sides of the turbos. The intake is multi-piece. It's got a top and a bottom. The Meng one, it's just a hollow piece, so it's just the top part, and this is the bottom. These two pieces will glue together to make the intake, so that should look good. A bit of work to fill in some seams probably, but that's okay. Yeah, this is looking quite good. All the pipe work looks very fine. And intricate. I think there's nothing really to complain about. The exhaust looks really good, actually. You know, it looks like fabricated exhaust, not some big, you know, some of the exhausts you see in models are just molded with a bunch of webbing in them, and they just look horrible. So yeah, this is encouraging so far. Looks very much on par with what you get with the kits, you know, from Tamiya, the three big F1 kits from the 90s, which granted are 35-year-old kits, so, you know, not a terribly high bar, but they were really good for their day, and they hold up well today, those kits. So yeah, this is interesting. I find this is the rear diffuser, so they didn't do it as all one piece, and they did it as a separate piece, so I don't know how it's going to look when it's joined together. Might be a little bit of work there. The rest of the exhaust, the seat, again, very thin. All the molding is nice and thin and well done. It's like radiators, the duct work, the brake shrouds, that sort of thing. Yeah, it looks promising. Looks like some injector pin marks. I don't know if those would be seen when it's all together. Ejector pin marks. Might need some cleaning up there, but yeah, actually the radiators look, sorry, I'm just trying to see them. They look really nicely detailed, actually. I know in the detail up kit they give you mesh for the rads, but honestly, looking at these, you probably wouldn't need that. Just a little bit of good detail painting would bring that out really nice. Lots of little parts, which is a pain in some regards, but in another aspect, it's good they put in the effort, right? Didn't simplify it too much, so that's good. And the way the monocoque builds up is interesting. The way they've done it, they've got a floor pan that this will build up, and everything sort of builds inside it, and then the sides of this, these parts here that are open right now, they're body color. They'll be yellow, so they've done them all separately. So that'll make it actually really good. As long as this fit here is good, that means that you can paint those separately and then assemble all this, you know, pre-painted and everything. So hopefully that works out well and it assembles well, because that will make doing this really good. But really nice detail with the rivet washers molded in. I think we'll have a look at the detail set. I think they probably give you photo etched rivets, or the washers for the rivets. Those you see, and those are silver on the real car, and this is all carbon. So probably have to scrape all those off to use the photo etch ones. So that'll be a bit of work. But just if you wanted to build it without the detail set, it looks really well done. So the wheels are next. I haven't looked at these. They look okay. I'd have to measure them to see what the diameter's like, see if they're the correct diameter, but they look okay. One piece, that's nice. This is the floor pan, which looks nice. It's slide molded. So you get some nice radius rolled edges on it. Yeah, not much to say there. I'm guessing that none of these injector pin, some of those are probably going to need to be ones there. Probably these ones will need to be cleaned up. That one, maybe those ones. The rest are going to be hidden for sure, but they got little raised sort of edges on them, so they'll need to be cleaned up to ensure that everything fits on here properly. We got a bunch of little sprues with just a bunch of detail parts. These look like they're all hose connections or pipe or wiring connectors. Those are pretty nice. Again, I think in the detail set you get metal ones of all these. The seatbelt hardware. Again, you know, these are actually nice and thin. Again, if you didn't want to get the detail set, these would do just fine. Looks like some sort of thing. I don't know. Looks like I don't think this car had a hydraulic suspension on it. I don't know what those are for. Something, one of the oil pumps or something, scavenge pump. And then a bunch of hose connectors. They don't look bad. They're not quite as nice as like the Top Studio or the Studio 27 resin ones, but again, bit of detail painting. They look just fine. And now we get into all the yellow plastic, which is fine. The car's yellow, so it's not going to cause any issues. There's some really nice thin edges on there. That's nice. These are the air intakes for the turbos that stick out of the side pods. So that's nice. Those are nice and thin. You won't really need to thin those out or anything. That's good. Really nice. It's like the rear wing. I don't know if they're going to come out with another version of this car. This version is the Monaco winner, so this would be the highest downforce package on it. So the biggest wings, whatnot. yeah, not much to say about that. And then this would be parts of the side pods, the front wing, and these are the sides of the chassis of the monocoque. Like I say, these are body color. So if this fits really well with that top piece, because it'll be black carbon and these will be painted, if you get a nice line there, you can do this all, you can pre-do all that and then assemble it, which will be super nice instead of having to especially because the monocoque's carbon fiber, so ideally you'd want to decal that and then masking that to paint this, or you'd have to paint this first and then mask this off and do the black, and it would be a pain in the ass. So anyways, hopefully that goes together well. And then the last piece, of course, is the body, which looks really good actually. This is super thin. I'd pulled this out of the box earlier and picked it up, and it was still in the bag. And I was surprised at how light and thin it was. I actually had to go get my MP46, my Tamiya one, to go and compare the moldings of that one's body shell. And yeah, this is way thinner than the Tamiya. It's quite impressive. So hopefully it's not warped as a result. It all looks pretty straight. It's hard to see. The sides, there's pieces that go in here that will help reinforce, because this is really thin and fragile. So that's going to be something you got to be careful with. Slide molded, obviously there's some joints there, a little bit of sanding. This one's got a bit of a step, I think, but just at the very, I don't know if you can see that, you can probably see it, yeah, where my fingernail is. It's a little bit of a step there, and a bit of a ugly line there, but a bit of prep work, that'll be easy to deal with. But all in all, it looks good. I like the shape. I like this era of Formula One, from mid 80s to the early 90s, like 92, 93, that era. That's when I really got into watching Formula One, was back then. So I remember watching, these cars on television when I could get it on TV. It was hard to find coverage of Formula One back then up here in Canada. Used to get it on Wild World of Sports. If anybody remembers that. But yeah, this was the era I really enjoyed. And I always liked the Lotus car. This interesting fact, this is 87. So this was the last year that Lotus, proper Lotus, Team Lotus, won a Formula One race. So this race was their second to last win, and then the Detroit of the same year was their last ever Formula One win. It was sort of the swan song was 87 for Lotus. Unfortunately, it was never the same after that. And of course, this car, as depicted, was driven by Ayrton Senna. I think he came third in the Drivers' Championship this year in 87. So anyways, I don't know, some of the things they've done on this kit are kind of neat. This is just the box that the tires are in. It looks like a little tire rack. Of course, it doesn't come with heaters in the actual little rack they depict on here. This is just clever little packaging. I think it's kind of neat. Nice little box to keep. Tires, I actually did take a look at these earlier, and I am questioning these front tires. The rears I think are okay, but these fronts, let's get a couple. The rears look okay size-wise. The fronts look too small, in my opinion. And I compared them with a set of Model Factory Hero replacement tires, and I looked at them compared to the Tamiya ones, and the front tires are definitely smaller compared to those. And I'm pretty sure this was the first year of the Goodyears, and I don't think the tire spec changed from 87 to 92, so I don't think these tires are correct, but I could be wrong, so I gotta do a bit of research on that. I have the model factory here on you've seen those ones. These tires here, you know, and it's pretty clear that the front tires are well, it's not very clear here, but the front tires for the model factory Hero ones are definitely just a little bit bigger in diameter. So I think these might be just a bit too small. So we're going to see if I'm right in that assumption, and then if these will fit on the wheels. That's why I got to make sure the inner diameter is right. I will probably put these ones on because these are really nice. They're pre-printed with Goodyear, so you don't need to decal them or use stencils to paint them. Other than that, though, these tires are really nice. They have the wear marks on them, the indicators, which is nice. They have the molded sidewalls. So yeah, they're quite nicely done tires. They're quite soft though, so they need some foam inserts to keep them from collapsing over time, and they smell like rubber, so I don't think and they feel like rubber, so they're not vinyl, so that's nice. So anyways, let's put those aside. Yeah, and then the last sort of thing of boxes is our little toolbox they give you. It's just too bad they didn't mold the box so it opened like a little toolbox. That'd be just a nice little novelty. Anyways, yeah, so this just has all a million screws, springs, nuts, brackets, that sort of thing, a bit of mesh, so nothing too exciting there. Nice little screwdriver, reminiscent of the ones you used to get in the Tamiya 12 scale kits. Looks like a fairly decent quality one though. So, is it magnetic? I don't know. Yeah, it's magnetic, so that's good. Oops. Yeah, so that's nice. Instead of those little tiny ones, a bunch of different size wire, heat shrink tubing, some more vinyl tubing here. And the last thing that was in here is all the suspension arms. Now it says on the box that these are a carbon composite plastic. I don't know how I feel about these. As you can see, they're completely square. Well, squared off. They're not teardrop shaped, they're not airfoil shaped or anything. And I don't know specifically. I'll need to do some research for this car. I'm sure it won't be hard to figure this out, but usually the fabricated arms were a teardrop shape. So these might need a considerable amount of work. But it's a type of plastic. It's used in RC car industry. It's very strong plastic. It's just like a carbon reinforced thermoplastic. You know, you can sand it and stuff, so if I need to reshape these, we will, but I'm not sure what I feel about those. So anyways, there's a bunch of things in there, like all the steering arms and suspension arms and so forth, so we'll see about that. But it's an interesting choice of material. You know, as opposed to Tamiya use the die-cast metal ones, you know, to give them some strength, because yeah, this thing's a little spindly on its suspension. Even though it's, you know, a plastic kit, it still has a bit of weight to it. So you need a bit of substance to suspension arms, otherwise they just bend. So we'll see. I know if I recall correctly, the Meng kit, the new MP44. It's got metal arms in it, and they didn't look all that shit hot either. So anyways, next up, I didn't open them. I haven't opened these yet. I've never looked at them. So let's have a quick look at the, sorry, painful to watch, I'm sure. Those are just pre-cut seat belts out of that. Same, pretty much looks exactly the same as the Tamiya stuff you get, which they build up okay. I used the kit ones for my FW14, and they look fine. They're only single-sided, and the edges are white, so you got to be a little creative with them. So yeah, this just looks like various decals. Goodyear, they kind of broke it up. Obviously, they did not have licensing rights to use Goodyear. I don't know if you can see that, the white ones. Yeah, so if I did anything, I'd paint the tires. If I use these tires, I won't use the decals. I'll just paint. I got stencils to do the Goodyear. But yeah, the decals look nice. They're super thin. And then these are all the Lotus sponsorship decals. Obviously this car had Camel cigarette sponsorship, so we don't have any of the Camel. We have a bunch of the Lotus stuff instead of Camel. So I think that's addressed by the detail set. So yeah, the decals don't look too terribly bad. You know, all in all, what you get in the box is pretty good. I think it looks like, you know, as long as it goes together well, it's at least as much plastic as you get in a Tamiya kit, which out of the box they build up really nice, and then the sky's the limit from there on what you want to do. So I think this gives you that same flexibility, the same sort of option. You can build a really nice kit out of the box or take it wherever you want. You know, so then we just get sorry, that's really glary. This is the decal call out. It's there, and I give you this little advertising for Zoom On's coming out with resin, probably figure. A variant center by the looks of it. And then I'll just have a quick look at the instructions. I'm not gonna go through in full detail, but anyways, yeah, so very this is actually, these instructions, it's like the newsprint type of paper. It's not heavyweight paper. It's interesting. It's very much like Tamiya's older instructions, like from their kits from the 70s. Yeah, so I thought that, and the way it's done too, is very reminiscent of like the original Porsche 935 and 934. If you've ever seen the original instructions from them, this is kind of what they looked like with the, you know, the blue and black and white with just a bit of blue. So anyways, interesting. So yeah, just give you all the color callouts, a couple different, I'll give you a Hobby, Mr. Hobby and Tamiya. And then they give you this is for, right there is how to mix the camel yellow. They give you a Hobby Mio. I've never heard of them. It must be a Japanese paint company. They're yellow, Tamiya Mix or Tamiya TS34 in the spray can for camel yellow, which I think they call chrome yellow. So anyways, looks like, yeah, we start building up the engine. Nothing. Nice clear instructions. Not a whole lot going on, which is nice. I don't really like. Well, I don't really mind, but some instructions you find they just have a million things per step, where this looks like it's broken down a little clear, so not a whole lot's going on, so you can work your way through quite easily without missing anything. Yeah, so there's building up the monocoque, like I said, the separate pieces for the tubs, or for the side of the monocoque, which is going to be painted yellow. Sort of the interior of the cockpit's all panel work. That's kind of cool. Give you all the wiring and detailing, all the connectors for the wiring. That's kind of nice having those separate. Sorry, I'm not going to talk about all this. Just give you a brief look at it. Yeah, it looks like that's all there is to that. Parts layout, everything in the kit. So that's it. That's what comes in the box. And then there is this guy, which is the detail parts. So this is obviously sold separately. I actually can't remember what I paid for all this. I got it from Hobby Easy. I pre-ordered it. It just came in the other day when I think somewhere around, I'm in Canada, so with shipping, taxes, and everything, I had to pay some import, or it's not import duty, it's just collect the taxes at the point of import, right? So you got to pay that by Revenue Canada or Customs Canada. I think it was all in about $450 Canadian. Which would probably be about $350 US, around there, depending on taxes for your state or whatever, which isn't bad. And that was with the detail set, the kit, shipping, which was not cheap. I think shipping was, because it's a big box, I think shipping was $59, somewhere around there. So yeah, $450 is what I want to say it ended up costing me and all. But you know, the alternative to this kit right now is the Model Factory Hero 99T, which Canadian shipped, I'd be looking at close to $1,000. So really, if this builds up into a decent looking model, it's a bargain, you know, providing, well, even if this does not go together well, it's a bargain, because, you know, I'm sure this will be half the work of putting a Model Factory Hero kit together, to get what looks like would probably be a similar result. You will get more detail in the Model Factory Hero kit, especially around the engine. They typically get pretty good in the wiring and that sort of thing, so that might be a little bit more detailed. But all in all, you know, for less than half the price, this might be a good alternative to getting that kit, and more than likely it'd be a lot easier to build, even with adding extras like a detail kit. So let's just have a quick look. Actually, I think on the back of the box it shows us what all we get in this kit. Let's just go in there. So try to get rid of the glare. Yeah, so we get a crap ton of decals, so these will all be carbon decals. That's what all that is for everything. It's like 3 sheets of photo etch with the stencils for the Goodyear logos. You get more decals here. These will be all the Camel cigarette decals. hoses, belts, instructions, obviously some metal wire, and then a bunch of turn parts. It looks like you get new wheel nuts, you get the spindles, and a bunch of, and all the electrical connectors, antennas, and a bunch of other little parts, valve stems, antennas, shifter, shift rod. So yeah, it looks like not a bad kit. I think this was $80 is what I ended up spending for it, Canadian. So really not bad for what you get. The instructions are nice. I kind of had a quick look through this. Well, I won't show you all this, but because it tells you what step in the instruction manual we're working with. So that's really nice. Unlike, you know, a Top Studio kit, it just shows you their parts and pictures of it going on the model, and you have to sort of go through both the instruction kit and that and kind of mark where the detail stuff goes on the main instruction sheet so that you don't miss stuff. So this will be nice because it tells you what step those parts are involved in. So that'll be pretty nice. But it looks like, you know, not bad. It looks like radiator. These were some coolers, Honda badging, you know, detail wiring. Those look like for some sensor wires on the control arms. Again, some coolers, the brake discs, brake caliper, retaining pins. Lots of, I can show you the carbon fiber here, so that's nice. The decals, and you know, we're on step 11. That's the air ducts. So that's actually really nice that they did it that way. Yeah, so all the gear shift stuff, all the carbon fiber for there, seat. Yeah, really nicely done actually. Photo etch for the seat belts. I think you get new seatbelt ribbon. Yeah, I can see it there. All the decals, radiators. Yeah, really good. It's actually pretty impressive. Photo etch end plates for the wings. Sponsor, all the sponsor decals for that. Yeah, it looks like you get the wheel nuts, valve stems. These look like probably pitot tube sensor. Interesting. All right, let's have a look at this. Yeah, so it was nice when I ordered this. They'd obviously this box wouldn't really fit inside the other box, so he broke it down and unfolded the box and just laid and just put this package and instructions in the main box, and then unfolded the detailed parts box and just laid it in there for me. So instead of putting it all in a bigger box, which would have cost more for shipping. So I just thought that was, I like Hobby Easy. They good service from them. I've always had good service. So anyways, let's move some of that out of the way. So yeah, a bunch of, I'm not gonna pull all this shit out, but looks like shifter, looks like the blow off valve, shift rod, some other antennas and stuff. And these all look like connectors and other various little bits. Those look like the O2 sensors. Actually, they're probably pyro sensors for the rear exhaust. Spindles. Wheel nuts. Some little rods. Tool for the nuts. So some more wires, heat shrink tubing, material for the belts. Here's the first bit of photo etch. These are the end planes for the front and rear wing. And this is a substantial chunk of what looks to be stainless. This is 0.6 mil. So that's pretty heavy. Super nicely done to get the different laminations. Yeah, those are nice. Bottom lip here of the front wing, that's actually wood. Oh, another piece of the heat shrink tubing. Let's look at the other photo etch. And then a couple more sheets of photo etch. Yeah, these look like the flat washers for the rivets on the monocoque. Doesn't look like there's enough though. We'll see. I don't know which ones, if they supply enough, I'll have to look through. Brake discs. Radiator mesh. This looks like it's the mesh for the front of the side pods. Stencils for the tires. That's nice. You don't have to put the decals on, so that's good. And then there's a crap ton of decals. Let me get some of this out of the way. Yeah, so in the usual fashion, they've, broken up so it doesn't say camel, which I don't quite get why they do that, but I know why they're not supposed to sell this stuff, but I guess it kind of gets it around the law. Anyways. Yeah, so all the blue's got a silver. It's not really chromy though, it's just a silver. Whereas I think on the real car, the outline of everything is chrome. So it's not quite as good as it could be. Maybe there's some better aftermarket ones out there that have more of a bright chrome. Yeah, so there's the carbon decals. More carbon decals. More carbon decals in various different shades. It's kind of hard to pick it up on the camera, but these ones are more on the blacker side. This is sort of more of a brownish. And then with that stripes, that's nice. It replicates the look a little bit better. Those are all more or less black. The chassis or the floor pan. The monocoque. More of the floor pan. Looks like both sides. That's kind of nice. And some more with some silver. I don't know where those ones go. These ones, yeah, so again, I don't know if the camera's picking it up very well, but, we got brown. These are brown, and then sort of more black or grayish black. So that's nice that you get the different sort of colors to represent the way it was back then. Yeah, so those are really nice. Actually quite impressed. And that's a lot of carbon decals. Like if you're just do patterns and make your own, you'd probably use $40 worth of Scale Motorsport carbon decals just to make these. So that's almost worth the price of admission right there. I think that between that and the extra detail from the various turn parts and that, I think this is a good value for whatever it was, $80 or something like that. So anyways, that's it. That's all that we have. So anyways, yeah, I guess we'll just leave it at that. I think that overall it's fairly impressive for their first large scale Formula One kit. You know, they're not easy subjects to get right and to look correct. There's a lot to it. So what's in the box looks really good. The detail set's a nice touch. How it's going to go together, yet to be determined, but you know, it looks like it should go together okay. Again, your only alternative to this, if you want to build a 12 scale Lotus 99T, is a Model Factory Hero kit, which costs more than twice as much and would probably be 3 times as hard to build as this. So there we have it. Anyways, I will start building this in the next little while. I'm still working on a Model Factory Hero kit at the moment, so I'm gonna sort of get this going in parallel with that one. I don't know how often I'm going to do updates on this build, but I think my plan is like I said, I'm going to build it out of the box, and I'm going to try a little bit different strategy. Usually I build in, not necessarily in the order of the instructions. I'll just, you know, like I'll do all the suspension arms, I'll do all the brakes, I'll do all the wheels and tires or whatever. I'll work on all the body works. And I'm just going to build this one, not really a step-by-step or a how-to or anything, but I'll just build it, you know, through the instructions and just paint as I go, kind of the way they wrote the instructions, and see how it goes together. You know, like I said, I'm not going to add any extra detail to it. If I got to make some corrections to those arms, I'll do it. But then again, I might not. I'll just build it as it is and see what I get at the end. So I think that's the game plan on this one. So I'm going to try to keep it going pretty steady. So maybe updates weekly or something to that effect. And yeah, I hope you'll join me for this adventure. And thanks for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.